Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini episode, today I have a couple of encounters with very odd oddities that our experiencers had been through. In one account, there's this Greenville UFO incident, and another, this man says he encountered time travelers. Let's get into the first article. Greenville, Mississippi hangar incident. Did the U.S. military secretly film a landing alien craft in the 1950s? Let's get into it now and read the whole story. In the mid-1950s, a group of civilian electronics workers at an Air Force base in Greenville, Mississippi, were suddenly locked inside a hangar just moments before a silent, disc-shaped craft descended outside. What they witnessed next, including a child-sized being communicating through a handheld device, remains one of the most astonishing and rarely discussed military UFO encounters ever described. Hi, Lon. My uncle was an electronics specialist who worked as a civilian employee at the Air Force Base in Greenville, Mississippi in the mid-1950s. One day, military authorities escorted him and several other civilian employees into a large aircraft hangar and ordered them to stay there until they were told they could leave. None of the men's questions about what was happening were answered. The military personnel closed the hangar doors and left. The men in the hangar gathered near the area where the doors came together. They discovered that they could peek outside and see what was happening. A disc-shaped aircraft about 40 feet in diameter descended vertically and landed on the tarmac outside the hangar. Several men with cameras filmed the entire event from an elevated scaffolding, while others filmed from the ground. A door opened on the aircraft, and a child-sized alien being walked down a short ramp. The alien used a handheld computer to communicate with the military personnel. The aircraft, which had a tripod landing gear with wheels, was then pushed by several men into a hangar across the way. After the alien aircraft was inside, the men closed the doors. A few minutes later, the doors were reopened, and the same men pushed the alien aircraft back outside to its original position. The personnel around the aircraft stepped away, and it soon lifted vertically, silently, and quickly darted away. As soon as the alien aircraft was gone, some military personnel opened the hangar doors where the civilian employees were standing and instructed them to proceed. I was a teenager when I first heard this story, and my reaction was a mix of uncertainty and disbelief. My uncle had no reason to lie about it, but years later, I was watching a television program about UFOs, and a man who had witnessed the same event described it in precisely the same way as my uncle had years earlier. Down to every detail, I was amazed, but despite having seen many UFO programs on television multiple times, I have never seen that particular interview again. I now realize the significance of that event, but my uncle passed away several years ago, and I imagine the other witnesses are likely all gone as well. Nonetheless, I wanted to share this information for what it's worth. I hope it proves to be beneficial. Our government is unlikely to confess that it has lied to us about UFOs since 1949, as doing so would destroy whatever credibility it still has. There's also a note, folks. So, let's read that now. The Greenville Air Force Base in Greenville, Mississippi was closed as a military installation December 1966 and redeveloped into Mid-Delta Regional Airport. So, was this military base once the, home, if only temporarily, for a UFO and maybe other clandestine meetings between the government and military and alien beings from beyond, folks? We can only just guess at if that's the truth or not. Maybe this is a true story, folks, but we need proof. But either way, truly fascinating. Let's move on to the next account. Talking to time travelers, two men appeared out of nowhere, then disappeared just as fast. Let's read this witness's account of what he thinks were time travelers. Let's get into the account now and hear all about it. On a lonely dirt road in eastern Kentucky, a 15-year-old found himself face-to-face with two mysterious men who seemed to materialize out of thin air, men who spoke of a gate that hadn't existed in years. What happened after he walked past them left him questioning whether he'd encountered trespassers, time-slipped strangers, or something far more disturbing. Ben from California shared a spooky experience with Dark Matter host Art Bell involving an encounter with two men who questioned him about a non-existent gate. I've had a story that may not fit the traditional ghost category, but it's definitely eerie. I grew up in eastern Kentucky on a haunted hill. Next to my neighborhood, there was a dirt road with gas wells, and that's where we rode our dirt bikes and four-wheelers. Typically, no one walks over there, but one day I ran out of gas for my dirt bike, so I decided to take a walk along the road. I was about 15 years old. In my first year of high school, I had my machete with me, looking for snakes and deer, when suddenly I spied two men standing right in front of me. This stretch of road was straight for about 200 or 300 yards, and out of nowhere, these men appeared just 20 feet away. I told them, "You scared the life out of me." One of the men replied, "Well, I'm sorry." They approached and began asking me questions such as, "How did you get out of here?" I responded, "I just live a mile from here." They seemed confused and then asked, "How did you get past the gates?" I explained, "There is no gate. There used to be one, but it was removed a couple of years ago. Keep in mind, this was the only entrance for miles. The road extends for a long way, and there's another entrance a few miles away that also doesn't have a gate." Their question was strange, mainly because they were coming from the direction of my house, and there was only one way in and out. I thought they should have known there wasn't a gate there. As I spoke with them, I began to feel increasingly uneasy. They were staring directly into my eyes and not looking anywhere. I pointed, not even at my machete. Only one of the men was talking to me, while both remained fixated on my eyes. Feeling uneasy, I thought about how I rarely encountered anyone there unless they were on a motorcycle or a dirt bike. I began walking back toward my house, and we crossed paths. I was nervous, and after a few steps, I turned around only to find that they had vanished. The gate hadn't been there for years, and I was puzzled by what had just happened. My heart was racing, and I felt panicked, and I started walking faster. When I glanced back, they were still gone, and there was nowhere for them to hide. I was convinced something bad was about to happen, so I broke into a run back to my house. I reached the road again, and there was no work truck or anybody else around. Once I got home, I slammed the door and locked it. I told my mom, "Somebody's trying to kill me. 2 men are trying to kill me." I spent the rest of the day freaked out in the house. Source: Art Bell, Dark Matter, October 31st, 2013. Now, what can we say about this story, folks? Truly strange. Were these men actually time travelers? We don't know. All I can say, folks, is that there's no evidence of it. But maybe they really were from the future. Or maybe they were from the past, folks. They could also have been alien beings. From the way they basically were talking and looking at this man, folks. With them staring directly into this, well, young man's eyes. It makes me think that they were trying to basically, well, erase his memory, because maybe he had accidentally stumbled into some sort of intersection between their world and ours, but I can't be for sure. Now, what about the first story we read about, folks? The one with that man being told a story by his uncle about this alien encounter that took place in Mississippi. All I can say, folks, is that I hope the program that this man watched, where he saw, well, a variant of the story that was told to him by his uncle, from the other witness who was there with him, that I hope that program, or at least a copy of it, still exists somewhere, either in someone's video collection or somewhere online, because I would love to watch this program for myself and then compare it to this man's story that he basically got from his uncle, because I want to basically see how similar they are, and maybe look up this military base that has since basically been, well, rebuilt into an airport, folks, and basically, well, learn a little more about it. Maybe there's something different about this place, folks, because I'd love to look into this base, folks, and see if there's any evidence at all of there being aliens on it, or at least having been. Maybe there's something there, folks, but I can't be for sure. Maybe there's some sort of alien base even beneath it, but I can't be for sure either about that. All I can do is just guess, really, about any of this. In both accounts, folks, we have to basically say there's no actual physical evidence proving that these instances happened, but from the way the witnesses talked about it, folks, it makes us all think that maybe they're telling the truth. But what about all of you? Do you believe that these, well, witnesses did tell the truth? Do you think that this man's uncle really did see an alien being the size of a child come out of some sort of UFO on this, well, base and stuff like that? And what about this encounter with these time travelers? Do you think that they were aliens or people from the future? Or maybe interdimensional interlopers, but I can't be for sure. But now, folks, we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics That Are Bad For You. You can use the links down below or in the descriptions to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure to hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.